The wonderful thing about editing is that it's not just about telling a story. You end up learning about so many different things along the way. There are subjects I knew nothing about, yet somehow they find their way onto my path. Suddenly I'm learning how an excavator gets fixed, I'm figuring out how a tractor works, and asking Philippe to explain mechanical details so I can get the story right. Editing this week's video might have been the most challenging yet. I found myself diving into crankshaft pulleys, EGR valves, and inlet manifolds, terms I barely knew before. If those don't immediately ring a bell, let me clarify. We bought a 17-year-old BMW from my brother-in-law, drove it from Belgium to France, and just days later the turbo gave up. That meant only one thing: it had to be replaced. What followed was a deep dive into YouTube tutorials, a fair share of frustrated grunts, and fortunately some victory cries.
Yes sir, yes sir.
As tough as it was for me to edit this video, actually replacing the turbo was an even bigger one for Philippe. His first time tackling a job like this. He still insists on saying,
"And I'm not a mechanic."
But at this point, I highly doubt that.
Voilà. Right, so the BMW. We needed a second car. My brother wanted to sell his. We got it for a good price. Before we took it from Belgium to France, I had to change the front discs and brakes, which went smooth. We drove it over here, zero problems, but 2 days later the turbo is blown. So I have to change the turbo, and it needs to have a big maintenance and some other stuff done to it. So I'm gonna do that now. It's gonna be a lot of work because the turbo is down there and I'm not a mechanic, but we'll see, we'll get there. So we have a second car which uses a lot less diesel because our van, perfect car, I can't complain. Everything it has done so far, it has done a lot for us. But it uses a lot of diesel, so just for driving around here and for bringing out into the daycare or something else, it's a lot easier to do it with this one. So what I'm doing is I'm taking all the covers off, making room, and I'm always trying to put the bolts back where they belong. So once I have to refit everything, most of the bolts will be in the place that they belong. Because else I'm gonna be with a gazillion bolts and no idea where I have to put them, because I have to take everything off. Just to give you a little idea, this big beast, this turbo, has to go in all the way down there. It sits something like this, so all this has to go, then we need to lift it up and underneath as well. So quite a big job. Alright, we're a day further, because in the afternoon my neighbor Mike was here with his camper van and it wouldn't start anymore. So in the afternoon we looked at that and we were able to solve it together with Claude. So instead of working on this, I did that. But I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna take this off, the fresh air manifold I'm gonna call it. Remove this EGR valve for now, and then I'll lift the car and remove the exhaust, and then hopefully I should be able to remove the turbo from underneath. I want to clean the inlet manifolds because this EGR valve that is here, what does it do if you don't know much about cars? Every car has this. It recirculates a certain part of your exhaust gases back into your fresh air inlet manifold to burn it again. It's for emissions. Yeah, it does work, but it is not the cleanest for your engine. As you will see, if I open up this inlet manifold, which should be sparkly clean, it's gonna be full of black soot. So there's actually a lot of parts that I'm gonna renew while I'm in here anyways, so that this car hopefully is good again for another 10 years. Voila, perfect. So this is what a EGR valve looks like. So that opens up and lets exhaust gas in your fresh air inlet manifold. So that's why it's so sooty, and in there as well there's loads of soot and dirt in there, because those are your exhaust gases going back into your engine to be burned the second time.
And there is also a rod that attaches to that swirl flap as well. So yes, you can see the swirl flaps without even removing your intake manifold.
I don't know if it's stupid or not, because I want to lift the car, but I can't get the 2-post lift arms underneath the car because it's too low. Okay. Okay, this should be perfect. And let's see the other side. If the back one works out, then I don't have to do something. But I don't. Oh yes. Oh yes. 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 Pak hier 8. Ja, dat is fantastisch. Kijk. Ja, zet dat gewoon weg tijdens die... Okay, so this is very difficult to film, so I'm sorry. But you will see only me in the pit. So we gotta remove this exhaust here, which is quite big, and it's attached to the turbo. And once that is loose, I think it's another bolt, and then the turbo should be loose. Okay. See if we can make this work. This is not easy at all. Bolts are in awkward places and they are tight.
This part is going to be very tricky, since the angle for the bolt is very limited. I've tried multiple different ways to get to it, but I failed. So my solution was 3 socket extensions, plus a universal joint adapter for the extra flexibility. By supporting this setup with my left hand, I had enough room to loosen the bolt.
So now that big exhaust has an electrical connection on it, so I need to be able to unplug that. Then hopefully I can lower the exhaust from underneath. Then we're almost there. The turbo is here and the pipe that I'm removing is back there, so not a lot of space. Okay, I need a rubber hammer or something. Ah, yes. Oh my god. Please, come out now. Do I really have to loosen that? I will have to. I should get one of those electric ratchets. I've seen Makita make some, or Milwaukee or whatever. Not that you will always be able to get them in tight spaces, but like this would make my life easier. Ah, yes sir, yes sir. Ah, yes sir. Do not break it. Okay, so you go up like this. Holy moly, 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 but I have a nice big space now. Yes, I think I'll be able to get that turbo out this way. Oh yeah. Oh. Okay, next. Mr. Little Bolt number 10, I think. Oh, hello, Mister. Please come out. Ah, la 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 la. You got a big gaping hole now. Hello. 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 Just to show you quickly, to get the turbo out, I had to get this exhaust pipe out of the way, and then I could get the turbo out of there. It was sitting on that black, there are these 3 bolts. Alright, it's a Sunday. I'm not gonna do that much today. I know I have loads of work, but I don't feel like doing that much. I'm gonna clean some stuff up, and I am gonna clean this inlet manifold from the BMW. It has been a lot of mechanic stuff lately. We tried to switch it up a little bit, but it's not easy. It is what comes on our pet, and the only difference that I can do, and I think I'm gonna do it with the excavator, is source it out. So we could take the BMW to a garage, and then you're gonna be paying 1,000 or 1,500 on an old car, because it still looks good, but it's 17 years old. So I don't know if I want to pay that much money on it, so that's why I did it myself. The excavator, the hydraulic problems that I'm having, that's a whole different ballpark. And that's probably a little bit too complicated for me now, in the sense that I'm gonna lose too much time on it. I don't really have a space to do it. That's the first thing, and you need to have a clean space because you're working with hydraulics. And I don't have time to search all the parts and this and that, and I also need the excavator. It's a little bit the same like with the dumper. So the excavator, I think I'm gonna either search someone who can come and repair it. I think that's gonna be the better choice. So up next is finishing this BMW, and hopefully we're gonna put in the clutch that we rebuilt for the McCormick, the old tractor. So hopefully we get that one running as well. So yeah, it's a little bit mechanic-y now, but it is what it is. plates just to show you guys. This is the rebuilt clutch for the tractor. This is the old clutch that I put together with all the other parts. There is some parts missing, but doesn't matter. I have a lot of spare parts now, and it is how it should be together. So, and this one is de-rusted completely. And then I have another 2 clutch plates that, if I want to, when we work on the other tractor, the original one, I'll send these to Paris again to get them regarnished, and then we can put them in this one. And this one I'll be bringing down to the tractor at Claude's, because this one we will be putting on very soon. Oh, this is a heavy thing. One thing I've learned is put starter cables in every car you have. There's nothing worse than being without starting cables and just having a flat battery. If you're wondering why the plastic was on here, is because when we went to Belgium, June went with us, and we have no other space than to put her in the front, but she does lose a lot of hair. Dog hairs are the worst to get out of your seat. It's like they have these little hooks that attach to your seats. I think in the BMW, once it's driving and June has to go in, she can go in the boot, and I think I'm gonna look for a dog mat or something.
Papa naar auto.
Ja, papa is bijna klaar met de auto.
Papa, ben je klaar? En dan papa.
Wat is het?
Okay.
Auto. Ah.
I'm doing all this little stuff now because I am waiting. That's the newer turbo, but on the old one there was a oil line here, but I want to replace it. Because once the newer turbo is in place together with this oil line, you can't reach it anymore. And the old one has been there for 17 years, so it is better to change it. I had one ordered, this one, but it's apparently the wrong one. Next up, the oil filter. Open this up and drain the oil, and then renew the oil filter and put new oil on, which is important if you do a turbo. You have to change it, even though if it has been changed 1 kilometer ago, it doesn't matter, you have to change it. Alright, we're draining the oil. It was necessary. It's cold in here, but it's still quite goopy, so let's give it some time to drain. And in the meanwhile, I'm gonna look at getting that oil filter out and put a new one in. This is the old filter. I had a look in between those grooves. No metal to be found, so that's good. This is the new one, plus an O-ring. So I'm gonna put that one on and put it in its place here. The oil filter done. Let's now go underneath the engine. It's almost done dripping into the tray, just a little bit more, and then we're gonna close it again and fill up the engine with oil. Okay, the diesel filter is underneath there, so this is the new one, so I have to get off this tray. Okay, I got it off. I saw the filter is from 19 or 18, so it was time. Okay, fuel filter is in, which was not easy. For some reason it didn't fit 100% here, so this clip that has to go through was very hard. Next up is this little auxiliary pump. So what this does is just it brings in the heat to your cabin a lot faster, and when you're standing still and you turn off the engine, you can press a button called rest, and then this will turn off and bring the rest heat of your engine inside your cabin. So like maybe you're waiting 10 minutes outside while someone or your wife or whatever goes into the pharmacy. You press the button, this will activate, it will keep the cabin warm. So I've seen you can open this up and have a look inside, because there are brushes, and most of the time it's just the brushes who are worn. So I'm gonna try it. Parce que des nouveaux brosses, ça c'est 1 euro.
Eh oui.
Et les nouveaux pompes, c'est 50 euros.
Oui. Et t'as trouvé le tuyau alors? Le tuyau de turbo, c'est bon.
Il est en route, hein?
Oh, c'est bien.
Oui, mais je sais pas quand, hein?
Il est en route.
Voilà, le moteur. Oh oui, oh, ce sont les brosses.
Ah oui, c'est trop petit. Oui.
Oui, ils sont usés. Ça, mais c'est une personne en Pologne qui dit pas acheter nouveau. Ouvrir, acheter des brosses et refaire.
Mais,
Ah, ça glisse, hein?
mais ça tiendrait, mais il faudrait que... Je suis pas assez fort, moi. Ah oui, monte la voiture un peu.
Oui.
Et tu la redescendras. Attends, bouge pas, je vais y aller.
Moi, je viens d'abord, non?
Non,
Ça marche?
tu restes en haut.
Oui, je sais, mais pour aider, hein?
Non, non. Voilà, allez.
Oui?
Essaye voir.
Ok, je tire, hein? Voilà.
Oui. Voilà.
Je suis pas sûr que je suis correct, hein?
Elle est belle la poulie, hein, en plastique, hein,
Et tout en plastique.
comme les poubelles.
Oui,
Et
oui.
tu vois, elle est pas, t'as vu, elle est pas belle la courroie. Hein.
Non?
Oh, moi, je connais pas.
Ah là là. Merde.
Fais voir.
Voilà.
Cadeau.
C'est comme tu veux. J'ai pas besoin de ça. This air inlet manifold is on again, and what I've noticed, I've renewed the seals and it was leaking past 2 seals. So that is why we probably had exhaust fumes when we were standing still at a traffic light or something inside the cabin, because the cabin filter is just above it. So hopefully that will stop now. Like I said, don't forget this car is 17 years old, so stuff like this happens. But I put all new joints in, everything is back as it should be. So the next thing, I'm probably gonna refit this EGR valve. And then I'm gonna have a look at the turbo, if we can put that one back, because I received the oil pipe that I was missing. So I should have all the parts now as well. Oh, and the 2 belts are renewed, and the crankshaft pulley is renewed as well. It was a tough one to remove. 400 Newton meters, they tightened it. So it took all my weight hanging off a big bar to just get it loose. But it has been renewed, the belts have been renewed. Hopefully, when we're all done, this car should be trouble-free for a good couple of years. Monsieur Petit Fil, ici. So this is the new turbo with the new oil pipe. Let's put it to the side. This one is gonna go on very soon. Now this EGR valve, I'm gonna open this and see if I can block this for now, and then refit it until I have a new part. Okay. Voila, okay. Closed. Put some grease in between, should be good. Let's see if we can put this one back. Voilà, tout est fini là, il est propre là. Tu vois ici, j'ai mis 2 là et le 3e est tombé, mais c'est pas grave. Oui?
Allez, c'est bon.
Ok.
Allez, ça va.
Ok.
Ah, tombé non?
Non, non. Oui, j'ai essayé, c'est trop. Je vais casser le tuyau.
Ah oui. Et le jouet, tu l'as trouvé? Pas tombé?
Demain, je regarde pour les autres et on sert après.
On laisse comme ça?
Oui. Je regarde demain pour toutes les petites choses. Oui, c'est ça, et les poules, ça. Okay, as you can see, the turbo is in. Now I have to connect all these small little lines to it, or bigger lines. Connect it all. This is the oil pipe I was talking about. Connect this one as well. And then it's just the big exhaust piece that I need to connect to it. And then we're almost done. Then we can maybe even have not a test drive, but fire up the car and see what it does before I put all these plastic parts back. It's also important to check these rubbers if they're still good, because it is an old car, so rubbers do perish. Up. disconnect this one. Okay. I know it's a lot of mechanic stuff at the moment, but it is what it comes on our pad. So just gotta do what you gotta do. And this is a part, for me anyways, is living off-grid or self-sustaining or self-sufficient or whatever you want to call it, is being able to do a lot of tasks yourself. And this is one of them. I'm learning how to do it, and it is what I want to do. The only part that's a little bit difficult is because we have a big renovation going on. This sucks up a lot of time. But in the future, after the renovation is or the bigger part is done, I don't mind spending time on stuff like this. And also money-wise, we don't have loads of money to spend. We don't even have enough for the renovations. Maybe we have a quarter of cash to do the renovations. So as we are earning and doing, we are progressing. So that's another reason why I'm doing it. If I would send this off to a BMW garage, not that they wouldn't do a good job, and I understand they need to be paid, but it wouldn't fit our budget. What still rests is actually this exhaust. Put it on the turbo, and then we're almost done. Then we can almost fire it up. Oui, je regarde que j'ai pas oublié quelque chose ici. Hein. Ok, le turbo, on fait les 3 boulons là, serré, il est serré, ça, serré, très important, ça aussi. La fiche d'échappement, oui. Pour le reste, j'ai rien fait ici. Ça, EGR, ok. Et le câble branché. Oh.
This isn't actually the sound of the car failing to start. Philippe intentionally removed the diesel injector connectors so they can turn the engine over without it firing up. This allows the oil pump to build pressure and circulate oil through the turbo and engine, essentially priming everything before the real start.
So the only thing that I'm not happy with, or what I'm gonna change, is the crankshaft pulley, which is this big one that we changed. I bought a cheaper one. So let's say I've just been punished because it's causing vibrations even if it's a new one. So I'm gonna buy an original BMW one, change it again. Luckily I can send that one back, and then hopefully this car should be fine. Voilà, brûler ça.
Now all that's left is to wait for the registration papers to come through, and just like that, another job is done.
Okay, it's done. You can hear it's running a lot better, so I changed the crankshaft pulley. I didn't film it because it was the same operation. But now it seems to be running fine, no more rambling. Everything is fixed, so hopefully the next year, 2 years, I don't have any issues with it.